All right, so today we are going to connect two worlds that seem miles apart: the ancient, brutal rules of nature and the cutting edge of our own technology. We're going to see what billions of years of trial and error in evolution can actually teach us about building artificial intelligence.
You've probably heard this a million times, right? When you're working on a project, you can have it fast, cheap, or good, but you only get to pick two. Well, that simple little rule is not just for project managers. It actually gets at a fundamental law of the entire universe, the law of the trade-off.
And it turns out that's the exact same rulebook nature has been using for billions of years. You just can't have it all, whether you're building a website or evolving an entire species. There are these hidden rules that force every single living thing into making an impossible choice. Now, in the world of science and engineering, this idea has a name: the Pareto front. It sounds super complicated, I know, but it's really not. Just think of it like the absolute limit of what's possible. It's the line where all the best compromises live. Anything on this line is a champion of efficiency. You literally cannot make it better in one area without having to sacrifice something in another.
And this is where it gets really cool. Every single living thing you see around you today, from the tallest tree to the smallest insect, exists somewhere on that invisible line. They're not perfect. They're actually just a bundle of masterfully balanced compromises. And believe me, some of those compromises are absolutely extreme.
I mean, just look at the hummingbird. Evolution pushed this little guy to one extreme end of that frontier, optimizing for just incredible agility and speed. But look at the price it pays for that. To power that insane flight, it lives on a metabolic knife's edge. It's this breathtaking marvel that is also just one missed meal away from total disaster. That right there is the trade-off in action.
And the hummingbird is not some weird exception. This rule is universal, and it is merciless. In evolution, there is absolutely no such thing as a free lunch. Every single advantage, every brilliant adaptation, comes with a cost attached.
Take the cheetah, for example. It's the fastest land animal on the planet. So why didn't evolution just make it super strong too? Well, because it can't. The muscles and the skeleton you need for that kind of explosive sprint have to be long, light, and pretty fragile. You just can't have muscles built for world-class sprinting and for bone-crushing power in the same body. The cheetah traded raw strength for unmatched speed, while the lion made the exact opposite choice. Neither one is better, they're just on different points of that same frontier.
And of course, that brings us to maybe the most complex example of all: us. We love to think of ourselves as the top of the evolutionary ladder, but our greatest asset, our intelligence, it comes at a staggering, almost ridiculous biological cost.
Just look at this. Physically, our brain is, well, it's tiny. It's only about 2% of our total body weight. It seems almost insignificant when you look at it like this. But that tiny little number is hiding a very big secret. And here it is. Here's the trade-off. That tiny 2% of our body mass consumes a whopping 20% of our daily energy, even when we're just sitting around doing nothing. Our brain is an energy hog of epic proportions. We traded physical brawn for abstract thought. That is the human bargain, plain and simple.
So for billions of years, nothing, and I mean nothing, has escaped this fundamental law. So why on earth would we expect our most advanced creation to be any different? It is time to apply this ancient wisdom to our digital future with artificial intelligence.
This is really the core question we're digging into today. If nature never ever produced a single, perfect, all-powerful organism, should we really be trying to build a perfect, all-powerful machine?
You know, it turns out computer science has its very own version of this rule. It's called the no free lunch theorem, and it says the exact same thing. There is no single master algorithm that's the best at solving every single problem. A tool designed to be amazing at one task will, by definition, be less effective at another. It's the Pareto front, but written in code. And this realization completely shatters that popular science fiction idea of AGI. We tend to imagine intelligence as this single volume dial that we can just crank up higher and higher and higher, but that's not how it works at all. Intelligence isn't one thing, it's a whole dashboard of different knobs, and turning one up often means you have to turn another one down. And what that means is we have to make choices. Really tough choices. For example, if we design an AI for pure, raw speed, we might have to sacrifice accuracy and nuance. If we want it to be wildly creative and adaptable, we may have to give up some measure of safety and control. An AI that is deeply ethical and cautious might just be too slow to act in a crisis. These aren't bugs we can just fix later. They are fundamental design choices baked into the system from the start.
And all of this leads us to the most important question of all. The goal isn't just about building a smarter mind anymore. It's about deciding what kind of intelligence we actually want to create and what trade-offs we as a society are willing to live with.
Let's look back at nature's playbook one last time. It never created a single best intelligence. It created a whole rich ecosystem of them. You have the social genius of dolphins, the incredible problem-solving skills of an octopus, the stunning collective power of an ant colony. Each one is a specialist, a master of its own unique niche.
Now, evolution made its choices through the blind, brutal pressures of survival. But we have a unique advantage. We can actually be deliberate about this. We can start by acknowledging that a perfect, do-it-all AI is a myth. Then we can identify the trade-offs that truly matter to us, things like safety, ethics, and accuracy. And we can consciously choose to design our systems to reflect those values.
Ultimately, the greatest lesson evolution can offer us is one of humility. The quest for AGI probably shouldn't be some frantic race to build a flawless, godlike machine. Maybe it should be a more thoughtful process, a process of creating a wise partner, one that, just like every successful species that came before it, understands its strengths, acknowledges its limits, and finds its own perfect, precarious balance on the frontier of what's possible.